This week on Hazardous Materials, last week's comics this week, Death Metal didn't do the reading, Rondell the Wandering Hillbilly returns, and X-Force contends with Russian nesting dolls.
Warning. The following podcast is utter nonsense and may cause agoraphobia, kleptomania, insomnia, and oppositional defiance disorder. We are required by law to provide you with this disclaimer for Hazardous Materials.
Welcome back to Hazardous Materials, last week's comics this week, wherein we talk about last week's comics this week. My name's Casey Johnson.
And I'm Gideon Gonzalez. And once again, my cross to bear, viewers, I must talk about Dark Knight's Death Metal number 3 by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo.
We're not really sure why you have to, but then we look at the sales numbers of this Drek, and now we have to address it.
But thou must. So we open this issue with 3 all-new Dark Knights. It's a Silver Surfer Batman, because we've run out of DC characters to make into Batmans. It's an Atrocitus Batman. It's a Brainiac Batman. They get blown up by zombie Jonah Hex.
So what I'm hearing is that there's Batman this and Batman that. It seems to me that DC's starting to run out of its own ideas.
It's a bat Ouroboros. It's a bat eating in itself.
Let's also talk about the fact that DC's canceling a crap load of titles.
Yeah, a lot of good books getting the axe, which is
Our Boys in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad didn't deserve that. It was too good.
It's the best Suicide Squad that's been since Ostrander.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable to say. So after that opening, which was a distraction, as Batman, Wonder Woman, and Harley race to go save Superman, who's locked into an epileptical machine created by Darkfather, a bat dark side, who's got para-Robins, who all they say is, "Holy bomb, Batman." And then Darkfather's trying to turn Superman into a dark side, because I guess Scott Snyder read Final Crisis and didn't get it and was just like, oh, Darkseid's thing is he turns people into dark sides. This is what happens when we strip all nuance and political relevancy from a character like Darkseid, but I digress. So Batman, they do the Radion bullet bit from Final Crisis, but it backfires on Darkfather, and Batman's like, I prepared. I had a bat deflector, and I rolled my eyes very hard, dear reader. But that's not important, because now Superman's got a dark side arm, I guess. But now, meanwhile, the JSA and the Flashes meet the Robin King, the character find of 2020, I'm told. People love this bastard. And he talks about how he killed the Flash on his Earth by doing a stupid... what amounts to when a kid on the playground says, I have anti-force field bullets. I'm saying, I have anti-speed force toxin. And then I shoved Barry Allen's dead mom into a flash ring. It's like,
Her liquidated corpse, I think, is what was used.
I don't know if he said liquidated corpse. She does mention that if you open it up, her arms reach out to hug you. So, yeah, that's the level we're at. And so the Flashes are like, oh, better believe. So they go, and Wonder Woman then exposits for a couple pages of, now, dear reader, go buy all the different tie-ins. Pick up Speed Metal to see what happens to the Flashes. Pick up Justice League for Doom Metal. And also Lobo pops up on a mission from someone.
But certainly not on a pilot for his own title, because that's not ever going to happen.
My boy, disrespected again. But anyways, the issue ends with Lobo opening a little box with a skull and crossbones on it as he receives a message from Lex Luthor.
Which Lex Luthor?
We don't know. He's got a big old scar on his face. So presumably it's main universe Lex Luthor, who's like, I'm going to rewrite the story of reality, which is also the Justice League's plan. Wonder Woman's like, we have to rewrite the multiverse because we are shamelessly ripping off of Secret Wars 2015 as well as Final Crisis.
Yeah. Wow.
Dear reader, you may notice I lack the intonations that I had the first couple issues of our death metal coverage because it is plainly draining my will to live.
Is really sapping you.
Ironically, a story that does not understand Darkseid seems to have tapped into the anti-life equation because I feel I feel my individuality, my soul drained. To die on the job is to die for Darkseid.
Yeah, you know, how many more issues of this crap we got to deal with?
4 and a bajillion tie-ins.
God.
I weep, dear listener. Let's talk about a good DC
Let's
book.
talk about some good stuff.
So we're not going to dive into a big OGN release because it's a big OGN release and it would dominate the entire show. But Volume 2 of Green Lantern Earth 1 by Karina Becco and Gabrielle Hardman came out, and it's phenomenal.
It gives us a nice introduction to their version of the Yellow Lanterns.
Yes, it's essentially this universe's version of the Yellow Lanterns are like the Green Lantern Ring 2.0. That the Lone Guardian, who's unnamed, he just referred to as the Guardian, and looking like a Marlon Brando circa Apocalypse Now, a very fun touch. But he's like, yeah, the Green Lanterns were a good experiment, but I've perfected it now with my Yellow Lanterns. So turn in your green rings, boys and girls, and pick up your yellow ring.
Yeah, and it's actually a variant on the origin of the original Yellow Ring, because the Yellow Ring was a Cordian weapon, and these yellow dudes are all Cordians.
Yep.
So it's like an army of the guys that made Sinestro's first little trinket showed up, and now they're wrecking shop, except for one. It's one lone Cordian. It
is a very, very good read. Green Lantern Earth 1 is the best of the Earth 1 titles, I would say. And this is contenders that standard of excellence, and I highly, highly recommend picking it up.
So now what we got going on is our lovely, lovely Adventure Man, our journey into what is probably the best Image book going on right now.
Yeah, definitely one for the books. Mad Fraction and the Dodsons killing it as always. And here we start to see more of the effects that her prior adventure has had on Claire, because now she has grown a foot taller, 15 inches taller, gained 100 pounds of muscle.
Yep.
And knows how to fashion a field tourniquet.
Yeah, it was a Z transfer, something like that.
Yeah.
End transfer. Okay.
So they're in the hospital because she's grown 15 inches and gained 100 pounds.
And doesn't have to use her
yeah. And that's another. I like that they didn't like undo her deafness. It's just that one of her ears recovered.
The 70% one is healed, but the other one is still kaput.
Exactly. And this is one of my favorite details from this issue. I freaked out when I noticed it. We praised Clayton Cowell's lettering before, but here, when Claire has her hearing aids out, her speech bubbles are larger than other characters.
I hadn't even noticed that until you pointed it out.
Yeah, because she's having to speak louder. I thought that was a really cool detail.
Now, maybe I missed this particular detail, but I'm realizing that a lot of her dialogue seems to be done in first person, with her referring to herself as Adventure Man.
Yes.
What's going on with that?
She's becoming Adventure Man.
It's like a slow transformation?
I don't think she's gonna I think she's becoming the new Adventure Man, because she's has the knowledge. Like, they had her being worked into like the flashbacks to Adventure Man adventures. Right. It's her instead of who we see before. I'm excited to see where it goes. There's a little spoiler at the end of the issue. I don't know if you read the character description stuff, so I'm not going to talk about it on here. But in the back, Matt Fraction talks about Terry Dodson's process behind creating all of Claire's sisters. I thought that was really, really cool.
I read the one about the runner. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it's such good background and world building. I love this series to death. Please pick it up. I don't want it to get prematurely canceled.
I don't think it really will be. I mean, it's coming out on fairly regular basis, which for me is baffling. I'm just so used to Image having their own rules when it comes to the releasing of titles. But Adventure Man, wow, it seems like it's coming out almost every 3 weeks.
I think they've had quite a few issues in the can before, and also like COVID shutting down shipping for 2 months also helped them get ahead.
Yeah, no kidding. Great. I'm really excited to actually see what the trades look like for this.
Oh, they're going to be gorgeous.
Yeah, I just feel like something special is going to be made of them.
Whenever Image does a nice hardcover, always
Yeah.
Always so good. So next up on our list is a free comic book day special of one of my very favorite titles. It hasn't had a book in quite a while, and that is Eric Powell's Hillbilly, the Lizard of Rusty Creek Cave.
Oh my God, this guy. Apparently our titled hero carries Satan's cleaver.
Yes, Rondell, the Wandering Hillbilly. And I want to just sell you guys on this book because I adore this series, and there's 3 trades, and I want y'all to pick them up. Let me read y'all an excerpt or two. Mr. Rondell, is it true that no witch or evil thing can lay hands upon your cleaver? That's right. A witch by the name of Mamie fetched it from the devil's own kitchen in Hades. She hauled it up to the mortal world in a sack so as to keep it from her skin. The devil, he don't trust none of his servants, with good reason. They all wicked just like him. So everything he owns, right down to the cutlery in his kitchen, he lays a curse upon, so that none of his own can touch it and use it against him. Yes, as formidable as the devil's cleaver is, there are many evil objects Satan has laid hands upon that you would not want to encounter. The devil's ladle, for instance, is an object I hope to never see again. So good.
I'm also a big fan of his troll neighbor who brings his cousin, because apparently his troll neighbor has had his arm cut off because he stole pies from him.
Gerry, I done told you now you had no right to be taking them pies from my window. Take your medicine and call it a day. I never stole them apple pies. How'd you know they was apple then? And how come I distinctly heard, ha ha, I done stole that stupid man's pies. Old pie thief Gerry, that's what they call me when I saw you run down the hill holding 2 pies.
Oh, God. And the fact that he kills the big troll that the little troll came to get revenge. And the little girl's like, well, why ain't you killed him? It's like, well, I'm an old man. And then he amuses me. And I got to have my hobbies.
Yeah, so one of the things I love about Hillbilly is generally in the stories, while Rondell, of course, does his good share of thwacking evil monsters, a big part of it is how he inspires people and gives them him backing them gives them the courage to do the right thing. And we definitely see that in this story with a town who regularly sacrifices their children to a dragon.
Yeah, with 2 noses.
It is
for the past 20 some odd years.
The titular lizard of Rusty Creek Cave.
Yes. There's definitely a lesson learned here. There's an Aesop going on here somewhere.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to read one more passage from the story because I do so love it. Let me just find it real quick. So one of the little girls in town, after her friend Darlene is sacrificed, asks why they have to keep doing it and how they can go about changing it. And the elders respond with, sit down and hush up. Can't you see we's in too much mourning to start hearing that talk? Yeah, we already told Darlene's folks we're keeping them in our prayers. What else you want?
Thoughts and prayers, everybody. Thoughts and prayers.
But yeah, honestly, the entire Albatross Funny Books line is pretty damn great. But when Eric Powell comes back to draw an issue of Hillbilly, I'm always going to pick it up.
So this has been going on for a while then.
Yeah, a couple years. There was, I think, an ongoing that went for, I want to say 12 issues and then a sequel miniseries. I don't believe he drew the miniseries though.
Huh. Well, it's got kind of an old school Walking Dead kind of artistic vibe, except for, of course, the tones. Walking Dead's always been black and white.
Generally, Eric Powell, I associate him mostly with, obviously, The Goon, his creator-owned book from the 90s. It was originally a Dark Horse book before he took it over to Albatross, his own company.
Mm-hmm.
I really dug when he drew the Hulk for a couple issues in the early 2000s. He draws a very good Joe Fixit. Empyre number 5 by Al Ewing, Dan Slott, and Valerio Schiti. So here we finally get to see what we've been so excited for since the end of last issue, the wedding of Billy and Teddy.
And how it really all came down, and how it was basically, we got 15 minutes to do this. Well, let's go get married.
They do a Vegas wedding.
And they teleport to Vegas.
And they're like, how will our friends get here?
They're teleporters and flyers.
They're speedsters and teleporters. They'll be here. And so we get a nice little Young Avengers reunion, which is cute. Casey, I'm going to let you take over the recap on this one because I've done the last couple.
Yeah, indeed. Empyre 5, clearly better than 3. Better than 4, I would even say.
I don't know if I go that far.
We've got zombie She-Hulk laying into Thing and doing a really ugly job of just putting him in. I mean, it looks like she's going to murder him, and you can see that Sue Storm is above them, and who's with Sue Storm? And
Mantis.
Mantis is with him. It's like, can't you put like a force field between it? And it's like, I tried this. She punches through the force field. It's like, well, can't you do something extreme, like, like put something in her brain? Like, I did that too. Nothing's stopping her. And then of course you're reminded by the thing that's inside her. It's like, it's because she's dead, but she's just so built to survive. And she's just laying into the thing, and it looks like thing is pretty much down for the count.
But in true Ben Grimm fashion,
will not quit.
He gets back up, says, "But I can't." But it's like, I can't give up. I can't die. So I guess I'm the immortal thing. Put up your dukes.
Put up your dukes, because the thing ain't going down. We finally discover, because of the sympathetic link between Wiccan and Teddy, is they have pulled a man in the Iron Mask routine and are
quite literally, exactly, as you can see in this image right here. But our good Empyre is apparently some other being. He name dropped somebody, and I forgot who it was, but I think it was like a female Skrull or something like that. There's the one that was impersonating the woman who gave Carol her big hammer.
It was her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so it turns out that the person that gave Carol her accuser hammer modified the hammer so that if it was ever pointed at Teddy, it would not show him to be anything other than Teddy. And so that's the reason why he's almost blew up the entire universe and almost got away with it.
And the sun is going. The sun is starting to burn out.
Yeah, he pulled Ozymandias. He's decided to go, I just did it already.
While T'Challa is busy lightsabering up a bunch of plant dudes on the surface.
Yeah, he caught a saber in his chest. So what's going to happen to our boy in Wakanda?
Well, we'll see what happens.
I'm scared.
Swordsman stabbed him, and he's seemingly down for the count. But with 10 minutes left in the game, Tony Stark slaps that forearmor on Reed Richards and puts him in.
I knew it. And they even show you in the back with the imagery that shows us how he stretches in his armor.
It's exciting times. I'm really hyped for Empyre number 6.
I'm excited for Empyre number 6. But you know what? I'm actually hyped at the fact that now they've done this with Reed Richards and they put him in armor. That means they're going to make a HeroClix out of it. And I'm going to buy it.
Empyre HeroClix. You heard it here, folks. With 1 million Katati per pack.
God, that's going to be so true. I was like, oh, crap. Okay, I got like 60 of these soldiers. Can I just please have one Iron Man?
No. You get another Koi. So, speaking of Immortal Hulks, we dive into The Immortal Hulk, number 36 by Al Ewing and Joe Bennett. The return of Joe Bennett.
I really feel awful about Hulk.
So as you may remember, last issue, the leader made Rick Jones blow up in an attempt to frame the Hulk while Hulk is on doing a bit of a goodwill tour of going back to the small town he destroyed way back in issue 9.
And Hulk is feeling really good about himself for one of the few times in his life.
Yeah, the Savage Hulk is taking the wheel, but he's just being a sweet boy, and he's shaking hands, and he's helping fix things. And then Rick Jones explodes and takes this horrific shape. Like
you have to see it. It's like a flesh rainbow.
Yeah, Joe Bennett was like, all right, I'll take off for an issue, but when I come back, give me some nasty shit.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this part, I don't think I've actually ever seen. Now, what's the word they have for normal Hulk? And the one that refers to himself as Hulk?
Savage Hulk.
That's Savage Hulk. I don't think I've ever seen Savage Hulk overwhelmed by guilt and remorse.
He's so sad, and it's so touching because he's just like, I didn't mean, I don't want to hurt
anybody. Everyone's so nice to me, and then freaking Crusher Creel Titania and
Gamma Flight gets dispatched to take him down. Huck's jetpack, which is as big as he is my favorite damn thing.
And in proper fashion of the times that they were in, Gamma Flight does everything wrong.
Yeah,
they completely escalate the situation.
Yeah, Hulk is surrendering, but they're just still like shooting the shit out of him, and
Absorbing Man goes for a chokehold, and Hulk removes his arm.
Yeah. Woof.
I was like, damn, is he gonna come back for that? Oh, then I forgot it's Absorbing Man.
Yeah, and then leading into an unexpected kink in the leader's plan, but one he readily welcomes. Rather than absorbing Hulk, like like Absorbman tends to do,
he absorbs
the gamma radiation and in effect becomes a massive green door.
And
the leader's like,
scale of this image, because you could see like the farmland, that kind of square farmland you see from planes, where like underneath his feet, it's like, this cannot go well.
He looks like a living tornado.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrifying.
It is really a great piece. We should just leave this piece up for a little bit. Just take this image in. This is horrific.
And then, because things aren't bad enough for our heroes, again, this is the issue whose solicitation was just, in all caps, no happy endings.
No happy endings.
Meanwhile, back at Gamma Base, Dr. Charlene and our boy Samson are working with some Gamma scientists who have Dr. Fry in a tube. Dr. Fry, you might remember from issue 2 as being that spooky radioactive skeleton that Hulk ripped the limbs off and buried.
I actually thought that was Half-Life when I saw that tube.
No Gamma vampires today.
Oh.
It's just Gamma Phosphorus man, or what's his name? Dr. Phosphorus.
Yeah, and that guy dies in Immortal Hulk fashion.
Yeah.
Gross and dissolving.
Dr. Fry burns through the tube and dissolves one of the scientists, and so poor Doc Samson's gonna have to face him next ish.
Yeah, he's got like his rib cage is on his wrist and everything. It's like he's puppeteered him, and now he's got to shake the bones off or something.
Immortal Hulk, man, what a title! Like, what a great book.
Somebody in editing, I mean, you have to know there's a Marvel editor somewhere that was sitting at his desk, and somebody came up and goes, "Hey, listen, I want to make a total Cronenberg Hulk book, and I want you to write off on it, and it's going to be gross as fuck."
I really love, I was reading an interview with Al Ewing, and he talked about how he did not have this massive arc in mind going in. He was like, yeah, I had a couple ideas of what I want to do, like with a creepy horror focused Hulk, but it took a couple arcs to get him being like, oh, we can do like a huge Hulk story with this. Like, we can do the biggest Hulk story since Planet Hulk.
You know what? I've actually found some reference to the kind of gore, the stylized Cronenberg kind of gore that we're looking at really feels like old 60s card art, like from Mars Attacks. You know what I'm talking about?
Dinosaurs Attack.
Exactly. Yeah. It feels like that. A lot like that. Maybe it's because of the painted covers and just the over the top murders and people, even their arms are not even safe. I was like, I'm really kind of curious to see if maybe that inspired him to do that.
Hey man, whatever it is, but Alex Ross doing the work of his career and on these covers, and that's no small feat.
No, yeah, especially for Alex Ross, who is not known for doing any kind of regular work.
Yeah,
he will do an event book here. He will do an art piece there. He did that really great mural for Marvel recently, which, as you know, has my girl Spiral.
And again, like I cannot heap enough praise on Joe Bennett, who just month in, month out puts out some of the most disturbing imagery I've ever seen in a comic book. Like, he's been a pretty reliable, like, fill-in artist for years and years, but this is him just really getting to cut loose.
Now, we're coming to the end of this.
The series will end at number 50, so we still got a good 14 issues to go.
Oh, okay, so we got another year going on here. I've got the fact that we are getting ready to deal with Empyre Immortal She-Hulk, like right over the edge here.
I'm excited.
I am really excited to see how She-Hulk's going to bounce back from that and how the whole idea of the immortality Hulk is going to apply to her.
Let's see. And the award for most misleading cover of the year goes to Marauders number 11, with depicting the funeral of Kitty Pryde, which to their credit does happen this issue.
It does happen, but we get our girl back.
This one where she comes back with her full classic massive head of hair. I was so happy to see it because I've always found the straightening of Kitty Pryde's hair to be kind of frustrating. It felt a little bit of erasing her Jewish identity to get rid of her curls. And it's nice to see them back in full force and that she's going to keep them.
Or the fact that mutants apparently still have no shame. Because she's just all out naked and just hanging out.
Yeah, like you do.
Yeah, no big deal.
But yeah, so it's revealed that the reason that she wasn't able to go through the resurrection protocols was because she instinctively would try to phase and just get stuck.
So she couldn't rip through the eggs that she was in. So all the viable subjects, 11 of which, were all perfectly fine. And they just figured this out.
Yep. And so Emma is able to help bridge the gap and pull her out. And God, what a
I
good
have
issue.
So many things to say about this issue. And the first one is Emma damn Frost
is great.
Is so good in this, and the emotional connection to her and Kitty is so palpable in this.
I
was really surprised.
The arc of their relationship going all the way back to X-Men 129. Then we go up through Whedon's run. We're going up through today. We're just seeing them evolve, and it's such a great team in Marauders.
And the subtle moment right at the end of the Kitty Pryde's funeral, when she walks away and both Magic and Rachel just give her the stink eye as White Queen is walking into the foreground.
Yeah, let's say she pissed off both the Kitty's girlfriends.
Yeah, and then as soon as she's out completely away from everybody's watchful eyes, just completely collapses on the floor. And I was like, I really like seeing the humanity.
Oh yeah,
in that.
And
in
Gerry
that
Duggan's been doing a great job of writing Emma in this series. And Stefano Caselli also been killing it. The art is perfect for every mood. From the
Marauders art has been great.
Yeah,
I have
the
no complaints.
sorrow of the funeral to the highs of Kitty's resurrection. And one of my favorite things is in Charles's eulogy. He mentions she was a good friend who would always know to call you out when you were being a jerk.
That's right, Charles Xavier. You're a jerk.
So good. And I do love how her knuckle tattoos are now Kill Shaw.
Which, yes.
Speaking of, when she revives and gets the image of Shaw in her head, I misread that sequence as she's revived and then Shaw bursts in with a shotgun. And I was like, whoa.
God, Shaw has no chill.
But then I was like, oh, okay. No, it's just the memory. All right, we good.
That would have been wild. Because he came with a big smile on his face.
I went from like, what? To like dying laughing.
That was great.
But yeah.
Now I'm going to go back and read that issue and I'm going to smile on my
Marauders
face.
Marauders is a book that I always forget how much I love until I read a new issue and I'm like, God, what a great book.
And how much Pyro's face tattoo has begun to grow on me.
Yeah. They showed they're doing a new Marvel Legends Pyro and he has an alt head. But it's not the tattoo head. I was really hoping.
Oh, yeah.
Because when they said Pyro with two heads, I was like, oh.
So what's the alt head? Is it Pyro 2 who is still around?
It's just like a regular head and like a maniacal grin.
Speaking of people still around, did you see who was at the funeral?
Who?
Agent X.
Oh, yeah. God, I love Agent. I've almost finished up my run of Agent X. I think I'm just missing a couple of the Evan Dorkin fill-in issues.
I absolutely love Agent X for two reasons. Number one, Udon Studios is doing the art. And I love Udon. They've actually been doing Street Fighter for several years now. I have several collections of it because I'm a complete Street Fighter nerd.
I'm a big Udon Taskmaster fan. I think it's a great
exactly.
design.
And Taskmaster is in almost every issue you can possibly squeeze him into. And he's just the embarrassed friend to the goof nut.
Gail Simone's might be my favorite Taskmaster writer. Maybe after Greg Van Lent, who wrote him or Fred Van Lent, who wrote him in the miniseries from a couple years ago.
Did Gail do Agent X?
Gail did Agent X, yeah.
Well, no wonder I love that title so much.
Spun out of her Deadpool run.
Oh, man, I need to go. I had no idea that she did Deadpool.
Yeah, she does that.
That's like a revelation.
She does that last year of Deadpool when Udon was doing the art.
No
and then
wonder
the team just shifts to Agent X.
And as much as I hated those spin-off titles that happened right about that time, and as much as I knew Agent X couldn't possibly be Daredevil, I loved it. I loved that book. And I would welcome a trade paperback of it.
There is. You can get.
I'm smiling at my friends that could possibly buy one for me. Come on, work with me. Get in.
See, it's one of the Deadpool classics. I don't remember what volume it is, but there's one that's just all of Gail Simone's Deadpool and Agent X in one trade.
Oh, that's cool. Now I'm going to have to find that.
Yes,
you can find it for me.
Yeah, I'll send you a link.
Yes. Now, we're going to talk about some X-Force.
Hoo boy. Do you remember that Vine of the kids walking around at like a picnic and here's mom go, "What do you have? A knife?" No. Because that's what this issue is.
Yes.
They're dissecting, you all may remember in X-Force #1, the pseudo Reavers who showed up on Krakoa. Well, it turns out that their bodies are like Russian nesting dolls and they got little blood goblins that pop out.
Yeah, and you kill one and like the smaller version of them crawls out of that. And just when you think, okay, maybe we'll do it 2 or 3 times. No. These things will apparently do it almost on the microscopic level.
So they're just wrecking havoc on Krakoa. The first one steals Cecilia Reyes' scalpel and murders Sage with it. while Beast is chasing after him. And then we get this great big splash page of the chaos on Krakoa. It's just an all-out brawl, including my boy Gorgeous George from the Nasty Boys. So
it's definitely no. We already did this. Remember, because the Marauders showed up first, and I collected.
Ah, that's correct.
Yeah,
that's right. My boy, the Nasty Boys are back in town. We have confirmation they're there. Where is Hairbag?
Hairbag ain't coming back.
I love Hairbag. It's the best name for a character.
He's gonna be hanging out in like some annual someday, or somebody else's funeral, hanging out with Agent X.
My name's Slab. I'm a nasty boy.
You know, when I saw that splash page for the very first time, I saw those guys running around in red. I thought, did Deadpool multiply himself and now he's getting revenge on the mutants for not letting him on the island? Is that what's going on here? I had no context to what I was looking at.
No, they're just little blood goblins.
And he had the little knife, like,
which Domino's solution is to we'll just throw grenades at it.
Yeah.
And just blow them up. They can't divide by zero, as she says.
No, but she goes and she gets Colossus, who's trying his best not to be Colossus, and he's trying to be
just a Russian farmer.
But I'm kind of curious, who's the chick in the blue?
I wasn't sure. I didn't recognize her. For a second I thought
copycat, but then no.
For a second I was like, is that the alien girl from Secret Wars? But I don't think it is.
No, I mean, she's long gone.
Yeah, like she gone. Well, Krakoa.
I think it might be. She seems to have some kind of influence. You know, just the framing of what happened. I mean, she's trying to talk to Colossus, and he's just dead set on just being a farmer. Yeah. And then when he's gone, she just kind of shows up. Which in comic tropes usually means, I'm controlling him and making him do this just because of the framing of it.
I don't want to believe that, though. I like Colossus's arc in here.
I do, too, but I really think that the woman has a deft hand in it.
I hope it's not anything sinister. But what is sinister is when it reveals what the plot was when one of these little goblins kills poor Quentin Quire, who is just like, no, just let me be happy once.
Because you have to explain just what Quentin Quire was doing before he did this.
He was macking on Phoebe.
He wasn't macking on her. He was doing her in the bushes. He's like, I finally bagged me one of the cuckoos, and now I'm gonna die, and I'm not gonna have this memory.
He gets impaled with the Cerebro sword,
and he's not gonna have that memory.
Falls backwards into a Krakoan portal to have the sword pulled out by Mikhail Rasputin, who I had to double check if that was him, because I was like, I've never read a story with Colossus' dumb brother.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought that too, and I thought when I saw that, it's like, I wonder if Gideon's gonna figure out this is Mikhail, because the telltale mark is right here.
But I've never read a story with Mikhail, so I could guess it was like, Rush is all about it, and I know he had a brother, but that's in that like decade dead space of X-Men comics I haven't read.
I did read those, so I took the bullet for you there. I read all the Mikhail issues and all their stuff.
Are they good?
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
It's Colossus's brother, but Colossus's brother is definitely up to no good at any level, but he's still his brother. You know, it's one of those moments.
Yeah.
You know, my brother, my enemy, my rival.
My brother, and me.
Yeah. But Mikhail's a cosmonaut. So whatever he's got going on is probably going to be space related.
Yeah. I mean, Omega Red is on the cover. Deceptive.
Yeah, because Omega Red's nowhere on this title at all. But the fact that he's Russian, I think, is what they were going for on this. This story arc is supposed to involve Russian mutants and what's really going on in Russia. Even though they kind of went off on a tangent with this admittedly Russian trope of nesting dolls.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even make that connection. I feel stupid now. It was all just a joke. Oh my God,
there.
That's amazing. But I forgot to credit Benjamin Percy and Bazaldua, who is an artist I wasn't familiar with, but really, really killed it on these great gruesome deaths in this issue.
Yeah.
Again, the humiliation conga of Quentin Quire is...
So I'm beginning to wonder about the cuckoos.
They're everywhere. I'm so happy for them.
They're getting sassy, and it seems like they're trying to get sassy with all the scions at one level or the other.
You know what? Girls be doing it for themselves, and I applaud them. Like,
so we got Phoebe with Quentin.
They were in every X book this week.
Yeah, they were. We got Phoebe with Quentin, and we got Esme with Cable.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the other three going to be?
I don't know, but I'm
What do you
happy
think?
for him.
You know what I think the one of them's going to be? Empath.
Hellion.
No, well, not Hellion. Hellion's the one. He's a telekinetic.
Yeah, but I
Which
mean, it
we haven't
counts.
seen him.
No, we haven't. I think he's gonna get his hands back.
He should. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. He had floating hands. He controlled with
He
telekinesis.
had
That
his
was like the
robot
coolest thing
hands.
everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, he probably wants his hands back.
Well, the Crucible is out there for you, man.
That's Surge
How bad do you want
is running around somewhere. Like she popped up in something, I think.
Yeah, but Surge never died.
Yeah, but I mean, she went into limbo. Like she went into
She went to
limbo.
character limbo, and then she was like the starter of her title. And then when the title got killed, no one wanted to use her.
Yeah. The sad state of being a mutant kid is
And
being
she also
forgotten.
wrote that weird trope of, hey, we got an Asian character. What do we do with her? Oh, let's give her colored hair.
Yeah. Well, it looked cool.
It's become kind of a tiresome trope.
She had those
days.
big, chunky Scotty Young gauntlets that I really dug.
Oh yeah, the kind of like the just pear-shaped in her design because she's got these big frumpy pants, but a leaner top side and the big giant heavy gauntlets.
Early
Yeah.
2000s fashion. Very good.
It really was. Yeah, everything was heavy.
But yeah, the X books, very healthy as we are starting to dovetail into 10 of Swords.
Yeah, the swords are starting to pop up. We've seen like 3 swords now. We
Mhm.
got Cable swords, we got the Space sword, which is the same as the Star sword, and we have the Space Knight sword. Well, no, that's Cable sword.
The Cerebro sword.
I'm trying to invent a third sword.
We got
the Cerebro sword is the third one.
We've
Thank you.
got Psylocke's, her big psychic broadsword she has. Brian has Excalibur.
Yeah, that's right.
You got Wolverine with the Muramasa sword.
That completely counteracts their healing properties.
And Magic sword.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
She got a big old sword. So yeah.
Yeah, Wolverine used that sword to cut off the clone Sabretooth head. Ain't nothing growing back from that.
Mm-mm.
I don't even think I think a normal sword would have done the same thing.
I'm excited to see Apocalypse's original Horsemen and how they'll react to Krakoa.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't even mind seeing Abraham and Plague and Autumn return.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they play a part.
Yeah.
Well, folks,
Oh.
that's it for this week's coverage. A lot of great books, but yeah, just not a ton. It's a good week when we can just be like, that was really nice. Let's go on to the next one. Only had one book to rage at with Dark Knight's Death Metal.
Thankfully.
Yeah, mercifully.
And knowing DC and their apparent ritual suicide that they're now going through, I don't think we're going to have to deal with much more of those.
Oh, no, we will. They sell.
No, the Dark Knight ones we will. But maybe the other crap that they usually drag out.
Well, we'll see. They're canceling a lot of good books, too, so.
Yes, well, we will lament Suicide Squad's last issue on this show, I believe.
Indeed. So, yeah, like and subscribe. Hit the little bell, friendo. Go down below and check out our social media links. I know Casey's got a whole host of self-promotion he wants to get done.
He does.
And check out our Patreon, maybe, and then see us next week.